Happiest Monday, and today we're going to take an adventure back into the weird days of my childhood and see if the first season of Every Which Way still holds up. Unfortunately, I don't have the means to capture footage of the show, so this is just kind of going to be me rambling about out-of-context stuff that no one else is going to understand. So it's basically all my other videos. Let's go! Every Which Way was a show that aired on Nickelodeon from 2014 to 2015, and I have to say, 11-year-old me was straight up obsessed with the show. Like, I would say it is probably the second thing that I ever seriously fangirled over after Harry Potter. I had very strong opinions about all the character arcs, all the things that were going on. You know, if I had social media at the time, I'm pretty sure 11-year-old me would have fought some people on Twitter over ships. I'm not exaggerating. To this day, I know all the lyrics to the theme song by heart, although I suppose that's not hard when it's just 4 lines and then the name of the show repeated over and over, but don't judge me. And I even watched the stupid Witch Academy spinoff, even though from what I remember, it really just wasn't that good. Recently, Nickelodeon has started rerunning the show on Teen Nick, and I have just been, for the heck of it, rewatching it just to see if it's as good as I remember, or if any of my opinions will change upon rewatching it. I mean, I'm pretty sure that Teen Nick is already airing, like, season 3 by now. I'm just really behind. But, anyway, let's just take off the nostalgia goggles and see how good the show really is. The first thing I noticed upon rewatching the show is that Every Which Way is, like, surprisingly complicated. I mean, come on. This is something that I'm watching at, like, 7 in the morning while I'm still half asleep on Teen Nick. Like, I didn't come here for it to be super complicated, and yet it just is. This show almost kind of feels like they took, like, a soap opera and then just, like, dumbed down some of the more intense plot twists, put in, like, Nickelodeon quality dialogue, and then just slapped it in front of kids. And the reason I say that is because I don't remember there being quite so many, like, character arcs and subplots and weird plot twists. Like, literally every, like, minor insignificant character that I didn't think was going to be relevant ended up having some sort of character arc, and I'm just like, why? I don't remember you. You, like, there are so many characters that just were not in my childhood memories, and then now they're, like, here and playing big roles in the plot, and I'm just like, what the heck is going on anymore? I feel like this might be because Every Which Way is actually an adaptation of a Latin American Nickelodeon show, and I feel like just in general, America's children's content is a lot more dumbed down than other countries' children's content because, you know, America. But as of the recording of this video, I've rewatched 2 episodes of Season 2 as well, and it really seems like Season 2 was trying to make some members of its cast a little less useless. Like, some of them they just got rid of entirely, and then other ones they're gonna, like, they didn't make as useless in the plot. So, and Season 2 was really when I started getting into the show, so I'm probably just misremembering it and remembering the more slimmed-down version rather than the awkward Season 1 phase. Alright, now I'm going to start talking about the actual plot, and as I mentioned, it's needlessly complicated, so just try and stay with me, okay? Every Which Way is about a girl named Emma who moves to Miami, and she ends up discovering that she's a witch, and she also has to keep her powers a secret because of the stupid Witches Council. We are going to get into how stupid the Witches Council is when we do the Season 2 video, if I decide to do a Season 2 video. Anyway, just know that the Witches Council is stupid and racist against humans. By humans, I mean, like, people who don't have magical powers. Although they're also racist against Kanais, too. Oh my goodness, I am getting off track. Back to Emma and her problems. But it turns out Emma's not just a witch, she's also a special witch called a Chosen One, which means that her powers are stronger than that of most witches, but also, on the lunar eclipse, other witches can try and steal her powers. Because I really don't know. Also, the phases of the moon and, like, moon stuff comes up a lot in this show. Like, basically, whenever the moon does anything, it will affect Emma's powers in some way. But Emma might not actually be the Chosen One, because we can't just make this simple. The other Chosen One might be this girl named Maddie Van Pelt, who is a Mean Girl character, and is very annoying and serves little to no purpose in the plot other than to be an antagonist. Gasp! On a side note, in the original Latin American version of the show, Maddie's name was Matilda, and I find that extremely amusing for some reason. Also, because Maddie's a mean girl, she has these, like, mean girl assistant characters, Katie and Sophie. Katie is just kind of annoying and weird, and she wants to be the leader of their group, but Maddie won't let her. And Sophie is actually rather precious and adorable, and she dated an iguana for like 5 episodes, and that's really all you need to know about her. And those 3 are called the Panthers, and they're evil. And, well, they're not evil, they're just minor antagonists. But anyway, they're pretty much just there to be annoying and add more drama to the show. Because there are a lot of characters that are just here to add more drama to the show, because, like, why would we want to actually focus on the magic part of our show that has the word witch in the title when we can just have girls fight over boys? And as my last sentence implies, yes, there is a pointless love interest character who has little to no personality. His name is Daniel, and he lives next door to Emma. But, gasp, he's dating Maddie, although he doesn't actually like her. He likes Emma, but we're still gonna have this pointless relationship drama over, like, 20 episodes, and it's gonna get super annoying, so deal with it! He's pretty much just your annoying stereotype male love interest character. Like, he's the captain of the swim team, but he also plays guitar, which means that we can add, like, 2 pointless songs to every season. He's pretty much just another excuse for Maddie and Emma to fight, like they need another excuse. Although one interesting thing about him is that Emma's dad does not like him because he has 3 demon-spawned siblings called the Terrible Three that like to pull pranks on Emma's dad, and somehow Daniel always ends up taking the blame. I forgot to mention Emma's parents. That tells you how much of a role they play in the plot. Emma's dad is a teacher at the school, I forget of what exact subject, and Emma's mom is presumably dead, which of course means she's not actually dead. Like, okay, I don't remember this exactly, but I feel like in the last season they pulled some crap where they introduced a new character and had her turn out to be Emma's mom at the end. I might be misremembering that completely, but I feel like there's like a surprise Emma's mom plot twist. Or maybe it's a Jax's mom plot twist. I remember someone's mom showed up. I know Jax's mom showed up. Did Emma's mom show up as well? Why do I have this weird feeling like Emma's mom is the principal? Am I jumping ahead? Yes, I am. There is this sentient spell book called the Hexerin, and it's supposedly, I think it has like all sorts of super powerful spells in it and stuff. And it used to belong to Emma's mother. It was found like just in a random box in Emma's house. So that means that presumably Emma's mother is also a witch, and that just leans into my whole theory about Emma's mom being the principal. But you don't even know who the principal is yet, so why am I still talking about this? Anyway, my point is, it was just kind of a regular book until Emma's powers started developing, and then it came to life and started flying around and crap. But at one point in the story, Maddie steals it, and then it's just kind of a back and forth thing for those two to argue about throughout the entire story. And there is this really stupid recurring joke, I think it's an attempt at comedy, where, like, Maddie can't pronounce the Hexerin's name, even though it's only, like, 3 syllables. She'll call it, like, Hexorama or something stupid like that. Like, she keeps coming up with stupid ways to mispronounce Hexerin. Like, I don't know if maybe this was, like, a failed, like, attempt to adapt a joke from the Latin American version. Like, maybe in the Latin American version it was ridiculously hard to pronounce, but they changed it to just a simple name in the English version. But my point is, I don't remember that being a joke, so hopefully in Season 2 they changed it. But, like, if I have to listen to Maddie mispronounce a basic word one more time, I think I'm literally going to jump into my television screen and... Great job. Anyway, I'm going to strangle Maddie if she keeps this up. There's also this kid named Diego who starts developing powers, but he's not a witch. He is what is called a kanai. As far as I know, kanais can only be dudes, and they mainly control, like, elemental magic, like fire and ice and whatnot. And Diego also has a best friend. I don't know if they're best friends, but anyway, he has a friend character named Mac who discovers about his powers pretty early on and, like, helps him deal with them and stuff. Also, for some reason, most adult witches hate kanais. Don't question it, it's just a thing. Diego also has a younger sister named Gigi who runs this, like, misinformation/gossip girl website, and she's, like, the school's gossip. She's running around shoving cameras in people's faces. She seems like she would be really annoying to have, like, in your real-life scenario. But, anyway, she doesn't do, like, anything in Season 1. She's just kind of there to occasionally exposit. But, I distinctly remember her becoming more important in later seasons. I don't know why. I have this vague notion of her developing her own powers. I don't know if that's correct or not. But anyway, I'm just mentioning her now so that I don't have to like establish her in later videos if I decide to make later videos. But anyway, she exists. Every one of these like teenage characters who have magic powers has their own like special guardian is what they're called. Basically, they are a witch or kanai who doesn't have powers anymore. Like, they were taken away from them, they lost them. For whatever reason, they just don't have powers anymore. Emma's guardian is the school's nurse, Lily, and Maddie's guardian is her mom, although for a while she gets tricked into thinking that it's the school's principal, and the school's principal is cartoonishly evil and the main antagonist of Season 1. I think I remember her coming back in later seasons, which is where I think I'm getting the idea that she is Emma's mom. But anyway, yeah, she's just cartoonishly evil, and she's a witch who wants to steal the Chosen One's powers, and she's just, not good. And her actress seriously needs to, like, calm down, because she overacts in literally every scene she's in, and it irritates me. We're gonna get into the acting more later. I just needed to bring that up. Diego's guardian is the school's swim team coach, Julio, and it should be noted that, like, there is no Kanai Council, and the Witches Council hates Kanais. So, like, whereas Lily and Maddie's mom were, like, officially appointed by the Witches Council or whatever, so they're, like, verified, Julio just kind of decided, I'm gonna mentor this kid now. So, honestly, I don't even remember what happened to Julio at the end, because apparently the principal is Julio's mom, and, like, I know what happened to the principal. She, like, died or something. Upon, like, rethinking this, I think they sent the principal to the Witches Council, because I know Emma and Maddie had that big team-up moment, and then I'm pretty sure they, like, cast a spell to teleport her somewhere, but I don't remember where they teleported her. So I'm gonna assume they, like, sent her to the Witches Council so that she could be, like, jailed or whatever, but, like, I still don't know what happened to Julio. So I'm just gonna assume that Julio spontaneously combusted at some point. Rip Julio. There's, like, this ridiculous side plot where Maddie's mom is interested in Emma's dad, but Emma's dad is just, like, not catching on. But, like, honestly, it's really rushed and tacked on and is only in, like, 2 scenes in the entire show, so I don't even know why they felt the need to put it in, and I don't know why I'm mentioning it. It's just a thing. I was reading the Wikipedia page for Grachi, or however you pronounce it, the source material show, and, like, it said that, like, Grachi and Matilda, the characters who are playing the same roles as Emma and Maddie, eventually their parents actually get married and they become sisters. I don't know if that happens in every which way. It wouldn't surprise me if it did, because I vaguely remember them getting involved in something or other. But, like, also in Grachi, apparently Tony, a kid that we're going to discuss in a second, apparently in Grachi, he comes back as, like, an evil wizard and tries to kill Grachi. And I don't remember Tony coming back as an evil wizard and trying to kill Emma during Every Which Way. Like, I'm pretty sure I would have remembered that. Andy is Emma's best friend, and she's just a regular human, but she discovers Emma's powers very quickly. And her goal is to become the first human guardian so that she can be with her best friend forever. And, like, Emma and Andy have a really cute, like, what's the opposite attract thing going on, because, like, Emma is super into, like, scrapbooking and, like, interior decorating and, like, pink and a bunch of cute stuff, whereas Andy is into, like, mechanics and violent games involving zombies, and so they're kind of fun to watch, I'm not gonna lie. I ship it just a tiny bit. And then we have the best character of the entire show, the guy I mentioned prematurely like 2 seconds ago, Tony Myers, my precious son. Tony is this kid who wants to be a magician, not like a Harry Houdini one, not like a woo every which way one. And he very quickly develops a crush on Emma, but unfortunately for him, Emma just does not see him in that way. Tony does eventually find out about Emma's powers, because why are we even trying to keep magic a secret? Because pretty much everyone finds out about Emma's powers in the show, except for her dad. But anyway, Tony is always, like, trying to assist Emma with, like, magic stuff, even though he has, like, absolutely no ability to. Whenever Emma, like, gets herself into a pickle and she needs to, like, lie her way out of it, Tony will help her. And I know that what I'm describing sounds vaguely like a nice guy, the sarcastic type, but, like, Emma does eventually reject Tony for Daniel, and when she does this, Tony doesn't become salty about it and start hating Emma forever, although apparently he does in the Latin American version. But anyway, Tony just, like, accepts that Emma doesn't like him that way, and he moves on with his life, and he still assists her during the final battle of the show, which leads me to ask, why are Emma and Tony not the ship? Like, seriously, why are Emma and Tony not the ship? Even better question, why are Emma and Andy not the ship? Okay, I'm not gonna, like, hit this meme into the ground too hard, but, like, honestly, Andy does come off as very, like, not straight to me. I don't know what sexuality she is, but she just comes off as not straight. And the fact that they gave her a love interest in Wits Academy is the one thing that I remember hating about that show with a burning passion. And, like, I didn't even think she was not straight back then. I just hated that they were shoving a guy upon Andy for no reason. So, like, I know that was a lot to take in. Like, a lot. But honestly, in the show, it doesn't come off as cluttered as it came from my mouth. Like, honestly, the drama part of the show isn't really, like, like, its weakest segment plot-wise. I think its weaker parts are its magic stuff, because, honestly, like, all the stuff with the Chosen One and the Eclipse just kind of sits in the background, and you get a bunch of build-up to it, and then it just happens. And, like, I want to know why the moon affects witches so much. Maybe they explained that in one of the first episodes and I wasn't paying attention. But, like, still, I just want to know why everything resides on the moon. Are these witches werewolves or something? The show's plots and pacing and dialogue isn't, like, terrible for a Nick show. But, so I guess that's not bad. Really, a lot of things in the show are just, like, sure, for regular television, they're probably not that good, but, like, by Nickelodeon standards, they're just really, really average. So, like, and a lot of stuff, I'm not actually going to have a lot to say. As much as you probably want to see me, like, rip into my childhood, from an honest perspective, I just don't have a lot to say. I'll tell you what I do have a lot to say about. The acting. I mean, I know this is a Nickelodeon show, and it's a children's show, so it's got those two things against it. These actors probably weren't being directed to give 100% serious performances. I would say that the best of the adult actors is Nurse Lily, because she seems to be the only one who's not completely hamming it up all the time. And the best of the younger actors is probably Diego and Andy, the people playing them. Because Diego is just kind of generally okay all around. And the girl playing Andy, I feel like she does better in the more serious scenes than the more comedic scenes. Unfortunately, Andy is kind of a comic relief character, so the majority of her scenes are comedic scenes, but when they do have a serious moment with her, she does pretty good. I'll give her that. The main actress's performance as Emma, I would say her name because I actually know it, but I have no idea how to pronounce it. But anyway, her performance as Emma isn't, like, bad per se, but it just feels kind of bland in places. Like, in a lot of scenes, you will see her with, like, the same two, like, basic poses and, like, posture that she's putting her body in. Like, she's always holding her backpack exactly like this with only one strap around her shoulder. Pretty much every scene where she has that backpack, that's how she's holding it. I dare you to prove me wrong. And, like, she has, like, free main facial expressions that she swaps between a lot. Occasionally, she'll, like, show more emotion, but she pretty much only has, like, free main facial expressions. And I suppose her line delivery isn't, like, that bad. Her line delivery is actually pretty good, but I just wish she was, like, a little more interesting with the visual aspect of her performance. Maddie and her mom are rather irritating to watch. The thing is, I can't 100% put the blame on their actresses for this, though. Same thing with the principal, because, like, those three characters are written to be rather unrealistic and rather outrageous and stereotypes and stuff. So I can't hate them too much for their performances, it's just a thing. They're rather irritating to watch. Although, apparently, fun fact, the woman playing Maddie's mom, apparently Nickelodeon liked her so much that they actually, like, she apparently played Maddie's mom in Grachi, or Matilda's mom, I should say. She played it in the original Latin American version, and apparently they liked her so much that they brought her over to do the English version for Every Which Way, so that's pretty cool. But by far, the award for most irritating actress in Every Which Way goes to whoever the heck plays Gigi Rueda. I hope I didn't mispronounce that character's last name. And the problem is, Gigi only actually does stuff in about 5 scenes in the entire season. And yet I hate her performance this much. That's not good. Gigi is a really bubbly and energetic character. I get that. Playing her requires a lot of energy, and once again, she's kind of an unrealistic stereotype character, so you do have a bit of freedom to ham it up. But, like, her actress is just going for it way too hard. She's putting in way too much energy, and as a result, it makes her the most irritating presence on screen whenever she is on screen. And I am not looking forward to seeing more of her in Season 2. I really hope her actress got better between seasons. The audio, cinematography, and sets are all just kind of okay. I don't really have a lot to say about it. It's just kind of average for a Nickelodeon show. But there is, whenever they film a scene in Maddie's living room, for whatever reason, it sounds like they recorded their lines in a big empty room, which means that their voices sound all echoey. And, I guess that they probably were recording in a big empty room. But, one, get better, sound capturing equipment. It's not that hard. And, two, just have them dub over the lines. Just leaving this crappy, echoey sounding dialogue shoved in the middle of this episode just makes your show seem just really bad. Don't do that. Although, as I said, I have watched 2 seasons of Season 2 so far, and they had a scene that was on that exact set, and it didn't sound echoey, so I guess they managed to fix the problem between seasons, and I am very glad for that, because that was just absolutely painful to listen to. The editing is just, a little too quick for my liking. You know how in soap operas, when they want to transition between scenes, they'll, do dramatic zoom-ins on people's faces, and they'll have the score build to a swell, and then it'll stop, and then it'll cut to the next scene. So, it's not, a great transition, but it feels somewhat natural. It feels like this show is trying to do that, but, without the score playing in the background, so sometimes it will just abruptly cut from one scene to another, and it just feels really awkward, like you're just being flung from scene to scene without any kind of proper transition. And I will say that this got better as the show went on. There started being, less awkward cuts like this. But the first episode, oh my goodness, the first 2 minutes of the first episode are painful to watch because of this, because they do a lot of really abrupt cutting that feels like it doesn't need to be there, and it's pretty bad. Because this is a show about magic, obviously, they had to use special effects and stuff. And, obviously, because this is a Nickelodeon show, they didn't have that much of a budget, so I'm not going to criticize the effects too heavily. Although I will say that if you're going to do a show about magic, maybe you should actually get enough of a budget to properly do a show about magic. And if you can't do that, then maybe you shouldn't be making a show about magic. In all honesty, the effects aren't, too bad. It honestly reminds me of, Wizards of Waverly Place bar effects, so it's not that bad. But there is one scene where, it both is written very awkwardly and it has bad effects. So, in the end, that entire scene, you're just kind of what the heck am I viewing? What is happening? Get me away from it. Emma, Andy, and some other characters, I think Mac was there. It doesn't matter. Anyway, the room that they are in has its gravity flipped. And to portray that, the show literally did this. Oh my goodness, I'm upside down, and if I let go of this chair, I'm going to fall to my doom from the ceiling. Admittedly, what they did was better because they have a camera that's actually capable of taking wide shots, and their room isn't that cluttered, so you could, actually see, the markings of, the floor and stuff, but, it's still super obvious that they just turned the camera upside down. And it's so embarrassing. But, that's not even, the worst of the problems with this scene. Because, the way they write it is terrible. So, first of all, they're, clinging to the chairs, which are, stuck on the ceiling, right? And they're, if we let go of the chairs, we're gonna die. Okay, first off, you don't just sit on the ceiling, then. You should be, dangling from the chair. Second off, why is your hair not hanging upside down? Emma and Andy both have very long hair, and it's just, stuck to their heads. It's not, hanging down or anything. And third, biggest problem of all, why are the chairs stuck to the ceiling? No, seriously, the person who cast the spell, I remember all they said that they did was that they flipped the gravity. Nothing else. So, last I checked, you don't defy gravity, Emma. So if the chairs are sticking to the ceiling, so should you. And then, you're even kind of sticking to the ceiling in the shot, you're just acting like you're not. So, you should be able to stand up and, walk around on the ceiling. And then your only problem should be, getting to the door, which is, now down here. But, you're making this so much more complicated than it needs to be due to bad writing. This scene makes absolutely no sense. And, there should never be a scene in a show that is based around magic that doesn't make sense because you can just say, a wizard did it. But that doesn't science or magic. So, I got a little upset about that last scene there. I apologize, but my point still stands. That scene made absolutely no sense, and as far as I am concerned, is the worst scene in the entire show. Even more worse than all of the scenes with Gigi in them. So overall, yes, the show has its problems, but like I still wouldn't call it a bad show. It's just really a really average Nickelodeon show, and if you happen to like most Nickelodeon shows, then you might like Every Which Way. It just falls like really in the middle of everything. It's not particularly good or bad. I don't know if I would necessarily tell anyone to go out of their way to watch it, but if someone told me that they wanted to watch it, I wouldn't try to prevent them from watching it. And I'm still going to continue watching the reruns on Teen Nick because I want to see what else I misremembered. Because remember, season 2 is when I really started getting into the show. So I imagine we're going to see a lot of disparity between 11-year-old me and 15-year-old me as we proceed. For example, the second season of Every Which Way introduced a character that 11-year-old me hated with a burning passion on levels that I don't think I even understood, and that, like, even though I don't remember much about this character, to this day, I still just hate him because I just had this inane hatred towards this character. And I want to know if that hatred is justified. So, Abby, I'll see you on Friday.